Hi there, it's Shang Dynasty again, talking to you about China. So, thanks for tuning in. This time we're talking about some of the important dynasties with the mnemonic device that I created. I've noticed with some of the Southeast Asian languages, Chinese and Japanese, that it's difficult for also myself and putting yourself in the student's shoes, how difficult it can be to try to remember these names and etc. So I created up a little, mnemonic device through just sitting there. It was before my Southeast Asian test and writing a little word tree. And to me, I was successful. I passed the test, so there you go. And it was within probably 7 hours before I needed to take the test. So I think these work, but what this lesson is going to do, or how I'm presenting it, is the kids, they're only going to learn 4 to 5 different dynasties. There's a load of them because Chinese history is so vast. There's thousands of years, so I'm just kind of picking and choosing, basically cookie cuttering some of the timelines here so it'd be easier for the kids to know. So what I would do is basically get little packets for them. They kind of decipher what's important, either highlighting it or just writing it down on a scratch piece of paper, group work, having a reporter, and then going up to the board and writing it down. And then we would go over the points together. I would show them the device because obviously you'll see from the little chunks that are important, it's hard to try to connect it together. So we will start off here. So there we go, little intro. So the Shang Dynasty, I'll pronounce that Shang, you just don't enunciate as we do in English. So as you can see here, the first fact, 700 years, the first written language in China, Bronze Age with tools and weapons, and they built China's first cities. The Qin, see, any Q that you pronounce in Chinese, it's Qin. So that ch sound. So this dynasty only lasts for 15 years. Xing, that's the movie that I put in my YouTube videos last week. So then the kids put a name to a face, and also there's been other pictures that would show them as well. And the Great Wall, and then obviously the Terracotta Army that has been just famous throughout the world, and then standardizing weights and measures. Amazing because this was, before Europe was trying to even figure that out. So the Chinese were ahead of Europeans just because they could figure out, okay, if we want to try to go from village to village, we need to standardize weights to trade with people. The Han Dynasty, only 400 years. A little bit of a shift going on here. A peasant and then warlord, he defeated Xing. And then Wu Di, here's our another key person from this era. And so he added to China's borders and then increased the size of the army. And then also we started Confucianism. Xing didn't believe in this, and so finally came back to this. And the Yuan and Mongol, Yuan, that's actually Chinese currency today. Obviously Genghis Khan, this was one of the first dynasties where it wasn't Chinese based, but Mongol that was actually ruling. And this was the first time that China was being ruled by foreigners. However, there will be a second time. That's during the Manchu dynasty. That's a little bit later. Kublai Khan, Genghis Khan, kind of opening that up. Obviously, different men into power here. So modern China, and as I put in my YouTube list last week, introducing these concepts. Obviously, not putting these aside, but just as review, because students learn best with repetition. Hearing that again. So some other key concepts that for modern China. So obviously we've grouped that together as a lot of information. So Mnemonic Device, just break that down. A memory tool to aid in remembering information. the acronym HOMES. I could still remember this one. This has to deal with the Great Lakes of the United States: Huron, Ontario, Michigan, Erie, and Superior. However, this is my little bit here. Oops, let me go back. So the Shang, again, 700 years. The first written language, the tools, weapons, and China's first cities to be built. So, obviously, what I did here, chronologically, so the first clue here, 700, that was that first. The second is the written language. Third, the bronze, weapons and tools, and the building. And that's the thing. What's great about this is there's no really right or wrong answer. It's something I came up with where the main idea is in the middle, and then obviously you have the letters within the main idea to connect to the other ideas that make this idea whole. For example, that N, it could have been bronze for Bronze Age, bronze tools and weapons. The Chin, once again, just to recap, 15 years, Xinguangdi, the wall, terracotta. So, here we go. The N for uniting China, the I here for 15. But see, then once again, you do have letters that don't necessarily get used. So I just kind of put a question mark, because it's just like, okay, there's Chin. It's only 3 letters. And what you could do, obviously, add dynasty, and you can come up with some more ideas. So once again, the 15, Wangdi, just putting his last name, and obviously United China, the Great Wall, and then terracotta. Somehow, PowerPoint had a little bit of a glitch, but it'll be okay. Just terracotta just is a clue there. So, there's our main idea. So the Han again, 400 years, Liu Bang, he defeated Xi Huangdi. So what we're doing, this is one of my students' ideas, and what she did, she put the main idea, vertical, and so obviously, for someone to visualize what's going on there in their head. And so once again, it lasted for 400 years. Liu Bang took over. He was a peasant. Obviously, his great-grandson Wu Di came along. The army increased, which I just meant is numbers. The Confucian value system, silver service that was based on that, and the Great Wall once again furthered. The Yuan and the Mongol. So, here's that. So Yuan, only a few letters here. And Mongol, obviously with Mongol, a lot of the students chose that one. And what you could do is start linking this. My mentor teacher thought that it would be a good idea to at least tree them together. It may get complicated for some, so maybe you just need to circle the words, if like a word search. In modern China, if anything, just to at least get different spellings. I didn't point this out. Zedong or Setong. Either way, scholars in different forms, different spellings. Just like even in English, American English, honor doesn't have a U, but then in British English, it has a U, honor. So either way, same thing. And then modern China, that can kind of get a little bit confusing, but here I am adapting. So from one part of modern China that you're able to tag along different ideas. So for example, Mao Zedong. And then how I talked about in that little video, the little red guard. So little red and then guard to remember. And obviously the Three Gorges Dam and the Great Leap. If anything, you don't have enough room, just a few key concepts and words there. So, there we go.